Hi, welcome to today's tutorial. In this exercise, we'll be creating one of the commonest essentials in our homes, the gas cylinder. I hope you enjoy this one. Let's begin with today's exercise. So I already opened up Autodesk Inventor and this is the interface we get. So let's get a worksheet. We get that by Ctrl plus N or we select the new option here on the top left corner. Now we have to choose a template we want to work with. There are 4-part templates. Here we will be working in millimeters and so we'll be looking at these two. Even though we can create this particular project in a sheet metal, I figured let's just do it in a standard MMIPT template. And so I'll select that and create. Now let's select a plane we want to work with. So we open up the origins. For this sketch, we would want to create it on the YZ plane. So I just select that and choose the option here that says create sketch. Now let's begin by picking the line command. We can draw a line here. We will dimension straight away using the dynamic input boxes. The length of this line is 488. So I'll type that. You can right click and then OK to get off the line command. Now what I want to do is to place the middle point of this line on the origin. For that we would use this constraint that says coincident. So that is to say that place the midpoint of this line. Let me look for it. It turns green once you see it. Yeah, that is it over there. So we click and then place it on this point. You can right click and press OK. We realize that the dimension is getting in our way, so we can drag to place it. Just touch the dimension until you see that icon over there. You can click and drag to your left. Okay, let me zoom in and pan to the middle. You pan by holding down the scroll mouse button and you drag to wherever you want to. Now let's offset this line, and so the offset command will click on this line and then drag to the right. The offset distance is 157.2 and enter. Now we'll pick the arc command. We'll begin to draw an arc from this point. We would end here and we'll specify the radius of that as 244 and enter. Pick the trim command. We want to take off some parts. We want to take off this part as well as that one and then this one and apply a fillet. The fillet radius is 100 mm. I'll type that between this arc and that line, also this arc and this line, and close this for now. Now let's place some 2 dimensions. It says 2 dimensions needed to fully define this sketch. If you are not sure of what to do, this is what I like to do most of the time. Use this option up here that says automatic dimensions and constraints. And now if you want to place a dimension and constraints, you check the 2 of them. But this, I just want to see the dimension I have to place. So I'll check this off and apply. So I know that I just needed to place these 2 dimensions, which is the radius of this arc and that one as well. That is why the arrow is pointing on them. You can remove and then place it manually. So pick the dimension command. Let's just click and drag. I place 244. I'll check that and do same down here. And the sketch is fully defined. Now you can finish this sketch or even press R straight away to revolve. The axis of revolution, we can choose this vertical line. We see a preview of that. It looks good and so we OK. This, as we see it, is a solid body and there's no room for our gas. Let's see a visual representation of that. So get into the View tab. Let's drop down this option and choose the Half section view. Now we have to select the plane we want to slice this body across. We can choose the XY plane here and there we see it. Let me even get the front view and zoom in. So there it is. There is no room for our gas. So I'll check this, get back into the isometric view, and let me delete the sectional view. Let's create this into a thin sheet metal so there's room for our gas. For that, we'll get back into the 3D model tab and choose the option here that says shell. It automatically detects the solid body. What we have to do is to specify the thickness of this thin sheet. Let's do 3 mm and OK. Now let's see a sectional view of that along the XY plane. And there we go. I can get the front view. Awesome. There is enough room for the gas. Okay, let me check this and even delete the section view. Now we want to get back into the first sketch we made to do a little bit of modification. This is a good example for us to know how to modify or edit our parts once the feature has been built, because there are some cases when you are modeling without any detailed drawing in mind, and in most of those cases, you'd have to be doing a try and error. If that happens, you have to get back into sketches and features you've already built to make some modifications. So this is a perfect exercise to understand how that is done. So let's get back into the initial sketch we made, which will be this one. You can just click on the plus sign next to the revolution if it's not visible. We'll click and right click and choose the option that says edit sketch. Now we'll pick the line command. Let's connect this point right here to the vertical line passing through the origin. You can right click and then OK. We want to take off this bump at the bottom so that our cylinder can stand. We'll do the trim of that particular arc, but it says there is a dimension attached to that. We have to delete the dimension first, which is fine. So let me cancel this for now. Press escape to get off the trim command. We'll select that dimension and delete it. We can also delete this one. We'll bring them back anyways. So pick the trim command and now we can trim off this part. Also this one right here and right click OK. It says that right here that's 5 dimensions needed. Let me place some of them I know I can't place. So the dimension command, let me place this one and check that. Let me even press escape and apply a tangential constraint to this line and that arc. I would press escape to get off that command. Now I would dimension. I think I have to place the length of this line. That would over constrain the sketch, and so I'll cancel that. I need 3 dimensions now. If you are confused, and like I showed you before, this is what I would do. You go to automatic dimensioning. Let's check off the constraints and apply the 3 dimensions. Okay. But I think I'll just apply so I don't have to go through the pain of doing them manually. Awesome. You can finish this sketch and now that modification will be made here. Let's get the front view so we see. There we go. It is flat. And that bump has been taken off. I'll get the isometric view. Next, we will make the stand. For that, let's get back into the sketch tab. We need a plane to work on. So let's just choose the 2D sketch command. You can click on this face and then you drag to offset a plane from that face. The offsetted distance, let's do 25 and press enter. Now we can create a sketch on this plane. We'll pick the circle command. Let's draw a circle from the origin of diameter 250 and enter. Let's even offset another circle to that. So just click and then we drag in. We want the thickness of that to be 4 mm, which will be the offset distance. And so we enter that. Now we can finish this sketch and press E straight away to extrude. The profile to be extruded, we will select this one and let's see, it is moving away from the body. So what we want to do is to choose the option that says to next. It detects the next surface and extrudes up to that surface. The preview looks good and so okay. You can go ahead and turn off the visibility of this plane. Next, we want to create the vents on the stand. And so we'll pick the 2D sketch command. We can create that on the XY plane, but we don't see the plane because it is hidden. So I'll choose this option down here that says Slice Graphics. Now we pick the command that says the center to center slot. This very one, the fifth one. Let's click and draw a slot anywhere. Let's put that right here. So just click and drag. The length of this slot I'll keep at 100 and press enter so I can specify the diameter of this slot, which I would do 10 and enter. You can right click and then OK. Now we would apply a vertical constraint between the center of that slot and the origin. Right click and then OK. We can hover our mouse in the middle here until it turns green, and then we drag it into place so we can place the other dimension. We'll pick the dimension command again. The distance between this line and that one is 12. I would enter that and finish this sketch because it is fully constrained. Now I would extrude. That profile has been correctly selected. I pressed E to extrude. It is going to be an extrude cut. We want the cut to be symmetric, to go through both sides. And we choose the option that says through all. We see a preview, it looks good, and so we OK. Now we need two more on these other sides too. For that, we can get back into the 3D model tab and use the circular pattern command. We want to select the feature we want to pattern. We can pick it from here or even from the work tree, the extrusion tool. I'll click on that. The rotational axis, we can choose any circular axis. So this is fine. The placement, we want just 4 of them, including the 2 we have already. We see a preview and so we OK. Now I move to the top part, and so I want to create a 2D sketch on an offsetted plane from this face. So let me just click and drag. OK. Now I can drag high to even know or have an idea of how much offset I'm supposed to do. So let me just do about 575, a negative of that, and check. Now I'd want to create a sketch on this face. But before that, let me project this very geometry, and then I would make that a constructional line. Now we pick the center point arc slot. If you're not sure what to do, just read what it says here. It says select center of center arc. So this will be the center. I'll just click and then place it right on the projected circle. I'll click and then rotate to draw the arc. I click again to place and then specify some dimensions. And so the distance between this point and then that point of the arc is 90. The diameter is 4. And what I want to do next is to apply a horizontal constraint between the center of that slot and the origin. That fully defines the sketch, and so I would finish that. Now I want to extrude that profile that has been correctly selected. The distance, I'll choose to next. It automatically detects the next surface, and so the preview looks fine. I would OK. I will turn off the visibility of this plane and pattern this extrusion. And so the circular pattern command, let me choose the feature we want to pattern, which will be this one. The rotational axis, I can choose any circular axis. The number of them, I want 3, and so I would OK. Now let's work on the valve area. And so I'll offset a plane from the XZ plane. The distance of offset is 245, and I will check that on that plane. Let me create a sketch. Let me zoom in. First of all, let me pick the circle command. From the origin, I'll draw a circle of diameter 15 and enter. I'll also drop this down and pick the polygon. It should be inscribed 6-sided. From the origin, let me draw. I'll leave that right here. And then I would apply a vertical constraint to this line and dimension the distance between the two vertical lines as 30 and enter that. I'll press E to extrude. The first profile we want to extrude is going to be this one. It should be an extrude cut. The distance of 10 mm is fine. I'd also click on the plus sign so I can extrude the next profile, which is going to be this one right here. It should be a distance of 2 next, and I would OK. You can just turn off the visibility of this plane. For the next extrusion, I'll select this face and create a sketch. I'll maintain this hole, so let me project that geometry. Pick the circle command or even offset from that circle to a distance of 4 mm is fine. I would enter that. I would press E to extrude. We want to extrude this profile. The distance of extrusion, let me do 15 and enter that. Would want to create another sketch on this face. We also want to maintain the hole, so I would project that geometry and even this polygon. So just select all 6 sides and E to extrude. The profile is going to be this one. The distance of extrusion, I'll do 18 this time and OK. I'd want to create another sketch on this face. We maintain the hole, so let's project that geometry and offset from that to a distance of 4. We could have also projected that very geometry. Let's finish this sketch and we would extrude this profile. The distance of extrusion 18 mm is fine, and so we OK. This looks good. For even a realistic view, let's put some threads on this surface. And that surface, I'll just go with these settings and OK. I'll create another feature. So on this face, let me create a sketch. I will pan down. That face is missing, so let me just slice this to get a good view and zoom in. We will pick the circle command. Let's draw a circle here of diameter 18. I would enter that. I would apply a horizontal constraint to this center of the circle and that point right here, and then also a vertical constraint to the center of the circle and that top point here. We can right click and then OK. I think this circle is too big, so just double click on the dimension. Let's do 17 and see how that looks. I think this is fine. So let me offset another circle to that of distance 2 and enter. I'll press E to extrude. The profile I want to extrude first is supposed to be this one. It's going to be an extrude cut. A cut of 4 mm I think will go through, but I can also inspect that and see. Okay, maybe let me drag it a little bit further. Okay, this much I think is fine. And I'll click on the plus sign and extrude this profile also. The distance of extrusion, let me just do 15 and enter. Let me see what we've done. Okay, I think this is fine. Let me get the isometric view and turn this even around. Okay, we'll close this up. So on this face, I would create a sketch. Let me zoom in and pan down and also slice to get a good view of that face. I would project this geometry and press E to extrude. I would want to extrude that to a distance of about 2 or 3 mm and OK. That closes it. Now let me apply a chamfer. A chamfer is going to be the second one, distance and angle. It says we should select the face, so I'll choose this face. The edge, I will choose that edge. And the distance 2 mm is fine until we apply. And close this for now. Next, we'll create the collar that also serves as a handle. So let me just turn this around. We would choose a plane. We want to place a plane at this point with reference this face. And then on that plane, we want to create a sketch. Let me pan down and zoom in so we see what we are doing. We are going to pick the circle command. Let's draw a circle here. We can even pick the arc, the 3-point arc. We'll place at this point and that point and specify the radius of that as 4 and enter. We can right click and then OK. We would be using the sweep command. And so to sweep, we need a path. Let's finish this and then create the path. We want to create that on this face. So just choose the 2D sketch command and let's select this face. Let me project some points onto that face. So I'll project geometry, this very point right here. Now let's pick the arc, the center point arc with a starting point of the origin. Just click, we'll place it at this point I just put here, and then we will rotate up until this point right here. Okay, we've snapped onto that. Just click, you can right click and then OK. We can now finish this sketch and we would want to sweep that profile. And so the sweep command, the profile we want to sweep has been correctly selected, the path also, and so we OK. Now there we go. We can turn off the visibility of this plane now. Now let's create another detail, which is the circumferential weld. And so we'll pick the 2D sketch command. Let's make this on the XY plane. Now we would slice this for a better view. Now I'll pick the line command. Let me draw a vertical line right here. And then just click at this point and rotate the mouse to draw an arc. I'll place that here. We would dimension now. And so the length of this line is 7 mm. I would enter that. I need to constrain. And so the horizontal constraint between the midpoint here and the origin. And then also right click, OK, let me project a geometry, which will be this one, to apply the final dimension. But that line, let me make it constructional and apply a coincident constraint between the center of that and that line. That fully defines the sketch, and so I'll press R to revolve. The profile, let's see, has been correctly selected. The axis of revolution, we would use the y-axis. The preview looks good, and so we OK. Now let's apply some fillets. And so the fillet command, the fillet of radius 2 mm is fine to these slots, and then also to this edge and that one. I can also even do this and that, and then also this side. Let me OK and apply some color. And so we'll drop this down. For the cylinder, we would choose light red and would want to change the appearance of this side for a more realistic look. We can pick them from the work tree, and so for the extrusion 7, hold down the control key, extrusion 8, 9, 10, and 11, and even the threads, as well as this extrusion and that one. Let me change that to, I think metal hot is fine. And then also for this extrusion 17, let me change that to glossy black, and even to the chamfer as well. Okay, I think this looks as realistic as possible. Now I also like to change the view and the visual style to realistic, and then even apply some shadows. Alright, and so that will be it for today's tutorial. I hope you find this super helpful. If you do, please consider subscribing to this channel. Also do well to like this video. It helps the YouTube algorithm push it to a lot more people. Don't forget to share with your CAD friends. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, Kindly leave them down in the comment section below and I would address them as soon as I can. Don't forget to save this week. I'll see you soon with the next tutorial. Bye.